How many people do you know who struggle with their health? Chances are, whether they show it or not, most of the people in your life do. And chances are, you're one of them. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, depression, endometriosis, acne, eczema, autoimmune, thyroid, Lyme, brain fog, fatigue, or any other symptom or condition, you're far from alone. Living with symptoms has become the new normal. So no more guessing games. It's time to get answers. Welcome to the Medical Medium Podcast. I'm Anthony William. So many who are sick and have it hard and they're struggling can actually doubt themselves. They start to lose trust. They start to lose faith. They think their body doesn't have what it takes to heal. They think things they've done here on Earth haven't been enough. They think science and the system isn't enough either. They feel they're at the point where what does it take to heal, and how come they don't have the answers? In today's episode, we're talking about tools to strengthen the soul, strengthen our journey, helping us to get out of a spiritual, mental, emotional, and even physical jam. It's about moving forward, words of wisdom, very important for anyone struggling and feeling they're stuck in the mud. Fasten your seatbelts, because you're going to learn about the future moment, your future self healed, the knowing tool. Remember when you were well? Say the word light. Angels are watching you, and never judge yourself. When we hear we have to stay strong, it can be hard to hear. Stay strong. It's not easy to hear. Why? Why is it not easy? Because we are staying strong. The chronically ill fights to stay strong every day. We stand to stay strong. We are staying strong. I know that every one of you has fought the good fight for yourself, the good fight for your family, the good fight for your friends, fought through the fears, fought through the tears, the anger, the frustration. And yes, you have been staying strong. Don't forget that. Yes, you. You have to give yourself credit, lots of credit. You have to be good to yourself. Be easy on yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Do not judge yourself ever. And if you ever do, tell yourself that you understand you. Tell yourself that you understand you. You understand regardless of what was ingrained in your consciousness your whole life, regardless of any hardships. It's not your fault. You're not at fault. You're a good person. The world around us is rough. And yes, there is immense beauty around us in this world, but there is also evil and darkness too. We don't have control over that. We don't have control over everything out there. But we have power and control over ourselves and the truth of our soul and existence. Tell yourself every day that you can heal. Tell your body you know it wants to heal, even with what we see or suffer through in this world. Tell your body you see it healed in the future and you understand it. I'd like to talk about your greatest ally, your greatest defender. Who is that? Who is your greatest protector, defender, and ally? It's your body. Your body is defending you against the stress you're under. There are so many things we can't control out there. We don't have control over other people's free will and the crap they do. We don't have control over the world and what the world does. We don't have control over the evildoers on the planet that just create chaos. We don't have control over the dark forces out there that speak to the people out there that create destruction on this planet, genocide, and everything else wrong. We don't have control over outside forces that are not our own. And we end up getting stressed out because this world works in a way where it creates purposely stress upon the human soul. But what we have control over what we do for ourselves. We have control over what we do for our body so our body can protect us and defend us against the chaos. We can be a powerful beam of light in the middle of this chaos. We may not be able to control the chaos around the world or the chaos that's actually in individuals. We may not be able to control the free will of others and their intentions and what they do, whether they know it or not, or they do things on purpose. We may not have control over them, but we have control over our own free will. And we have control over what goes in our body and what we do for our body, as our body helps protect us against everything that's out there that's going against us. There are moments in life where things can be easier for some people, and there's moments in life when things can be really difficult for some people. And when I think about so many things that people have been through, I've noticed over the years that it's not because of them, it's because of others that were in their life or that are in their life in that moment. And so what the person ends up going through is stress or trauma, emotional pain from others that are either suffering and struggling themselves, or they're intentionally creating problems or unintentionally. But we all have something similar in life, which is we can't control others. We can't stop them from doing what they do. We can only try to become that beacon of light in hopes that they learn and grow and find their way. When we're trying to heal our bodies and we're trying to heal symptoms, we have to keep in mind that the good things we do for ourselves are keeping us strong throughout the stress and the chaos, the emotional struggles, the psychic attacks. How many of you have ever experienced a psychic attack where you can feel it? You can feel the negativity that someone else or others is propelling out there. When we give our bodies what they need, our bodies can strengthen throughout the process and help us battle darkness that's coming from the outside of our lives. We can package it all up as simple as stress. We can just call it stress. I'm stressing out. I'm stressing. I'm under a lot of stress. I've been through a lot of stress. I feel stress. However it is, we can just use that one word and just package it up like that. But whatever you want to call it, whether it's darkness out there, psychic attack, stress, evildoers on the planet making things difficult for people all around, people in our lives that are toxic. And that's another thing too. It's toxicity that isn't just what we put inside our body and what we're up against. Physically, it's toxicity from others around us. So many people struggle with people in their lives that either take from them or drain them or lower their battery or draw from them. So many people struggle with this. And we may not have control over any of it, but we do have control over what we fortify our body with and our soul so we can stay strong and create a shield that reflects it all, so we can get stronger in the middle of chaos. I promise you this, you can get stronger in the middle of all that chaos. You can strengthen in the middle of any kind of stress or emotional chaos that's happening in your life, or challenges or emotional challenges. Even if you have PTSD, even if you're struggling emotionally because of it, you can still build strength in the middle of the worst chaos, even if that chaos is actually interfering with things that you need or slowing you down. You can still get strong in the center of it all, because it can't mess with your soul. It can't mess with who you really are. It can't mess with your good intentions. It can't mess with your compassion, which is your strength, one of your strengths. You have everything it takes to heal, even under stress. Don't forget it. Never forget that. No matter what crap comes your way, you can stay strong and eventually override it. And your body is defending you, protecting you, and by your side throughout the process. So many people in the medical meme community are doing powerful things for their healing process, but they're under a tremendous amount of stress that's out of their control, that they're not creating. If anybody tells you that you create your problems, that you're creating your sickness, or you're creating the issues you have, that's toxic. You're not creating your illness. You don't want to be sick. You don't want to be couch bound, and you don't want to be bed bound. You don't want to be on Mattress Island. And it's okay if you are right now. You'll rise out of it. You'll eventually get through it. You'll get to the other side of it. But you did not create it, and it's not your fault. And if anybody tells you that you created your illness, they're wrong. They're wrong. You're a good person. You didn't do anything wrong. It's not why you're sick. And your body wants to heal, and it wants to overcome everything, even when you're under stress. Even when you're under some of the most difficult challenges, your body will help you overcome it. When someone gets sick, they have this hope in them because they think, whoa, I'm sick right now, but I can get better. Maybe they remember being sick before in their life when they catch a flu, or they catch a cold, or they get a bad sore throat or sinus infection, or they pull their back out. And after a week or 4 or 5 days or 10 days later, they get better. Or they get a sty, and the sty heals and they get better. Or they get a UTI and they go to a doctor, they get an antibiotic, they get a cream, their UTI gets better. And they have that memory in the back of their mind. They have it in their consciousness that, hey, I get better. They sprain an ankle, they're down for a little bit, they can't exercise like they want to, but they get better. It heals. So they have this reference, and this reference is, my body heals. That's just how it rolls. And then something else happens. They get sick, and they still have that reference, and they still have that understanding, but they're not getting better. Something's wrong. Panic attacks in the middle of the night. They're breathing in a paper bag, trying not to hyperventilate. Or they're getting body pain in random, strange places, or getting fatigue, or even brain fog, or hundreds of other different symptoms that people do get. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, I'm sick for a week, but I'm not getting better. What is going on? And that's when, like, a person's really challenged. They start to get really challenged, because it's not like it was when they had that cold flu. It's not like it was when they had the COVID. It's not like it was when they had a UTI. It's not like it was when they cut their finger and they had an infection that healed up. It's not like it was when they were skiing and they messed up their knee, messed up their ankle. It's, I'm stuck. What is going on? Okay, well, you know what? This doctor didn't help me, so let me go to this other doctor that a friend recommended. They go to this other doctor, and they're going through a battery of tests, but they're not better yet. And they're like, wait a minute, this is starting to get scary now. It's been 3 weeks. I still have this severe brain fog, or I still have this pain in my jaw. And then a family member says, well, you should go to my doctor. So then they go to their doctor. They're there, they're getting blood work. They're still having a problem. They leave there a little hopeful, maybe some different recommendations, maybe even a different diagnosis. And then they're still stuck and they're still not better. And it starts getting scarier. Feels like a slippery slope and they're going down it. And then that doctor says, well, you can go to the specialist. And now you're at a specialist. You're like, well, a specialist has to know more. And it's kind of like the same drill. Maybe they get a different diagnosis. Maybe they get an answer that's a little different. Maybe it's the same answer as the last doctor. But that's when the heart starts to sink and a pit in the stomach begins. It's right when you're like, wait a minute, I'm at my 6th or 7th doctor. I just went to the specialist. I'm still not better with this brain fog. I'm still not better with this fatigue. I'm still not better with this anxiety and the panic or so many other symptoms. I'm not better. What is going on? And then that journey starts with alternative medicine. Well, I read something in an article. My friend told me to go to this chiropractor. My friend told me to go to this herbalist or this DO, this osteopath or kinesiologist or acupuncturist or functional medicine doctor. And then it's on that journey. So now you're like, whoa, I've been to the specialists, the conventional medicine doctors, and now you're on the journey to the alternative doctors, and you're hearing different things. Maybe it's SIBO. Maybe it's my microbiome is off. Maybe it's something else. And you're in that arena now, but you're still sick. And then months go by, and you have to find a way to somehow live with this. You're feeling like you're not yourself. You're feeling like you're not the person you once were. And now you're in this constant state of struggle because the hope is dissipating and the worry and the fear is just sitting on your shoulders. And that's the place where so many people end up. It could go on for years. It can go on for a decade. It could go on for 20 years. So many people have been through it where it's taken that long, and they have seen 50 health professionals, 100 health professionals. I remember in the very first book, Medical Medium book, and I remember written in there is, does anybody have time to wait 5-10 years to get an answer? 5 years means a lot. 10 years means a lot. No one should have to wait that long. I just want to tell you, if you know anybody that's gone through this, if you're going through it, the body can heal. Because one of the things that breaks down is the thought that the body just can't heal anymore and something's wrong, and it lost its ability to fix itself. It's lost its ability to fight for you. But that's not true. That's not true. You got to always remember, you have to keep it in your heart. You have to keep it in your soul. You have to keep it in your consciousness, your subconsciousness, your consciousness. Your every waking moment, you have to remember that your body's working so hard and it can heal and it's going to heal. Every night when you go to bed, you open up your hand and you look at your palm and you envision that there's a knowing that's landing on your hand. It's a knowing that your body actually will heal and it can heal and it's going to heal. And whatever that knowing looks like to you, it's sitting in your palm of your hand, and then close your hand and seal up that knowing and hold it in the palm of your hand. And you'll feel something rise up your spine and up your shoulders and up your neck and to your head, and you'll feel the sensations. And you'll hold it inside your hand. You open up your hand every night before you go to bed, and you stare at your hand. If you can't look at your hand, then you just envision it anyway. But you stare at your hand if you can, and you look at the palm of your hand, and you envision the word knowing, that you have a knowing that your body is going to heal, and you let it sit in your palm. What does that knowing look like? Is it the word? and it's sitting in your hand, because words hold power. What does it look like to you? Is it a circle? Is it a little light ball? Is it just the word knowing? And you hold it in your hand and you close your hand. And right when your hand closes, you'll feel something. You'll feel a little funny feeling go through your body. And you're telling your body right there that you know that it's going to heal. And it can heal no matter what you've been through all these years. Never forget it. Remember that every single day. Our bodies can heal. They can fix themselves. Yes, we have to give them some guidance and a little bit of help. We have to commit a little bit and we have to have some discipline. But even regardless of anything, your body's fighting for you and it wants to heal. And it's working on it every day, every night. Was there a time that you felt good long before you got sick? Like maybe years ago, maybe a long time ago when you were younger, where you actually remember that you felt good. You weren't suffering. You weren't struggling. You were doing good. You felt good. You didn't have crippling anxiety, tightness of the chest, panic attacks, depression. You didn't have heaviness of the limbs, chronic fatigue, or 100 other symptoms, conditions that people have. You felt indestructible. Or was there a time in the past where you felt like your normal self? Like you felt like you. You weren't mentally struggling. You weren't doubting yourself because you were dealing with mental issues, emotional struggles, where there was a time where you just didn't have that struggle or that fight emotionally. The luxury of your health not getting in the way or feeling like it's not getting in the way. You did what you wanted. You went where you wanted to go. You did what you wanted to do. You weren't thinking about your well-being, your health, your symptoms. You ate whatever you wanted. You ate what you loved, even if it was just a smidgen of time that you experienced this, even if it was just like 1 year in your life or 1 month in your life in the past. Do you remember it? Because if that was there years back, and maybe for some of you just 3 years ago or 5 years ago, but whenever it was, if you can remember that feeling that everything was okay and you weren't struggling or suffering physically, mentally, emotionally, even if this was long, long ago, grab onto it, hold on to it, remember it, remember it. Maybe it wasn't even long ago you felt this way. Maybe it was a long time ago you felt this way. Can you remember when you felt safe, you felt good, any of these things, you felt strong? Because if you did at some point, reach back and grab it. Go far back and remember it. Remember when you felt good and lock onto it, because it's coming again. It's on its way and it's coming again. I know that for some of you, you were always sick. You felt like you were born sick. You felt like that you got sick when you were a child, struggling with chronic illness. And maybe, though, there was only a small window of feeling better throughout those years when you're younger. If there was just a small window, then grab onto it. Capture that small window and think back and grab it. And for some, there may not even been any relief with your health going back to the beginning of your life. But maybe there was a moment of peace. Maybe there's a moment of happiness or joy during your struggle. Some special moment in your life, even if it seems small, grab onto it, remember it, hold on to it, because it even could be bigger than what it seems. at the time then. Hold on to it. Close your eyes and let yourself go back there. Travel back in time to when you felt good and you didn't have a symptom, or you had very little symptoms, or you had a moment of peace, tranquility, or you felt safe, or you felt joy. Go back in time, time machine it back. Feel it when you were well, strong, and at peace. Bring it back here now in the moment. Bring it back to you and feel it, because you're going to get there again to where you were. You're going to overcome your illness and you're going to move forward. And so it's a reminder of when you felt that way. And you want to hold on to that memory and remember it, because that's coming. Know it in your soul that you can get to this place again where you were before. If you're dealing with a health problem and you're sick and you've been through so much and you're struggling every day, maybe you're someone that's got more than one symptom. Maybe you have 5 symptoms, 50 symptoms, and you feel like, I'm trying to heal, I'm doing all I can, but I just can't get better. It's too hard. When is this going to end? When am I going to be able to get past this? When am I going to heal? Or when am I going to get strong enough and get past this? For some people, it might just be 1 or 2 symptoms that are holding them back, not letting them feel at their best, not letting them function the way they want to. And some people, it could be so much more, where they're bedridden for most of the time. They can't get into the shower. It's an arduous task, an impossible task just to brush your teeth. Can't cook for yourself. And maybe it's up and down, where there's times where you can function enough and then can't function at all. If you've been down and out with your health, or going through an emotional experience, emotional turmoil, any kind of difficulties, I know that we're told out there by meditation experts to be in the present moment and to focus on the present moment. And for some people, that's really helpful. And for a lot of people, it may not be helpful too, because when you're focusing on the present moment and you're going through a hard time, it makes it feel like it's even harder, because in the present moment, we're struggling and suffering with our symptoms, our pain, our emotional turmoil, our struggles, our losses. It's really hard to be in the present moment when we're in the present moment of a struggle. But for some people who aren't struggling so much, or struggling at all, being in the present moment seems to be the best place for them, where they're doing a meditation and they're calming themselves down. They're trying to get a better foundation in the moment. They're trying to balance out, and they're thinking about the present moment, and they're in that present moment. But it's really hard for a lot of people when they're struggling in the present moment. So what I have learned from SOC is thinking about the future. Thinking about the future where you have healed, you have recovered, you have passed the storm of any kind of emotional turmoil and struggle. You've moved past your loss or losses. You haven't forgotten. We don't forget about what we've been through. We don't forget about our losses, but we move past it and we get to the other side. Think about your future self. Think about your future self. Your future self is healthy. Your future self has recovered. Your future self has gotten past all the symptoms. Your future self has gotten past the worst symptoms, the ones that were just making your life so difficult. Your future self healed. Your future self overcame everything. And then your future self goes back to the past and sees your past self, which is your present self, sick, struggling with a symptom, struggling with some kind of problem or an emotional struggle. And your future self is seeing this. Envision your future self saying to you now, your sick self, that you're going to get past this because your future self is living proof. Your future self is a testament. It's living proof. And when you're sitting there and you're thinking about, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to persevere? This chronic illness, this chronic situation has been holding me down and bogging me down. Then envision yourself healed later in the future, coming back to you now and telling you it's going to be okay. Telling you it's going to be all right, that you're going to get through this. Your future self telling you in your situation now that it's going to be okay, that you're going to get past this. You're going to get through it. You're going to get to the other side and you're going to heal. The visitation from you. So if you're doing a meditation or just sitting there or just on Mattress Island or Couch Island, or you're traveling right now or with family and you're still going through a difficult time, and you lay there at night or during the day when you're trying to rest, wherever you are, or Chair Island, and you have your eyes shut and you're just caught up in your mind and you're thinking, rerouted to your future self, smiling, your future self happy, your future self healed and recovered. Think about being way past all of this, being out of it, out of the woods, having the sun on your face, being in that beautiful field of wildflowers, knowing you've passed your symptoms and your pain and your struggles. You're free from it. And you're looking back. Try to get into the future. It's a great place where anxiety can calm, depression can even lift when you're in that space. And you don't even have to do a meditation thinking about it. You can just be sitting there calm, sitting there in the moment on the couch or in a chair or laying down on the floor or anywhere that's comfortable and think about the future. And maybe you just think about it when you're doing things, when you're in the kitchen, when you're making your food, or when you're working, or when you're doing house chores, or when you're taking a walk and you're being reminded constantly about your symptom or your struggle. And that's the thing. That's what makes it difficult. It's hard to focus on the present moment when really what is happening is we're being forced to focus on our symptoms because we're feeling the symptoms. People with chronic illness understand this. People without chronic illness, unfortunately, don't understand it unless they've experienced it or unless they're really close to someone who has chronic illness and they're extremely attentive and really connected to them, and they listen to them and listen to the person, and they hear what the person's struggles are. But for the most part, people who don't have chronic illness don't understand this, that we're forced to be in the present moment of symptoms and hardship and losses and emotional pain and turmoil. And a lot of times the emotional pain and turmoil goes hand in hand with the symptoms and the conditions and the physical pain and the physical health. Because when we're not feeling good, that adds on to the PTSD and it adds on to the emotional struggle. So it's hard to be in the present moment. It's hard to sit down and just be like in the present moment, but taking yourself to the future, maybe when you're laying down before you fall asleep at night, that's a great time to do this. What do you want to see in your future? Picture yourself past your symptoms. Picture yourself and see yourself past the pain and the struggles and the suffering. See yourself in the future, even if it's 3 years from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now. See yourself in the future. See yourself out of it and free, away from it, looking back at where you are now. Your future self, looking at your past self. And think about now that this is your past self as we speak, as I'm talking now. This is your past self. Pain, the struggles, the symptoms, the hardships, anything you've gone through. This is your past self. And your future self is going to be different. You're going to be past it. You're going to have already overcome it all. Think about that. It's really powerful, really healing, and you'll get there. You'll be in that place in the future, and you'll be looking back and thinking about this. I know many of you guys stay up late because it's the time of day when you're relaxing, feel at peace. So many people feel like no one's asking anything of them. They have this peace, tranquility. It's dark outside. Everybody's sleeping in the world, it feels like. And you're just up and up late. There's something really special about that for so many people that do that. They want to stay up all night and never sleep. But for people who do get to bed and they want to sleep and they finally get that chance and their body calms down, when you get ready to sleep at night and you're winding down, the day is over, you close your eyes, your mind may go through many thoughts. So many people, their minds even race. They're thinking about what they're doing the next day. They're thinking about how their day was. It's time to get some rest. And as you're doing it, and you're laying there in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, you may feel alone. But always remember this: you're not alone. The angels watch over you at night. Most of the time, it's more than one angel. Many times, it's even more than two angels. It could be three. As you lay there without much effort, just visualize them, see them. Can you visually see the angels? The angels stand by your side. They stand there by your bedside, watching over you. If you're somebody that's not well, I know that many of you struggle and you've been through a lot in your life. And maybe you're having a hard time right now. Maybe you're going through a health struggle. The angels know this. They are there. When your eyes are closed, look for the glow, the light blue glow that radiates off the angels. If you can't see it, know it's there. You will see it eventually. When our mind is racing and we're overthinking and our brain is just heating up from the stress of the day, it's hard to let go of those thoughts. And when you try to wind down and get ready for bed, your mind could be racing, the thoughts can be going, especially if there's a lot of things you're thinking about that are troublesome or stressful or difficult. One thing you may want to try to do is say the word light. Say the word light. Repeat it. Say it out loud and repeat light. And when you do that, listen carefully as you lay there in bed. Listen to yourself say it. It doesn't have to be loud. You don't have to yell it. You can whisper it. You can say it in any way that feels comfortable. But as you're laying there in bed, listen to the word as you say it and see if you can feel how it rolls off your tongue. Light. Light. You will hear it differently than ever before, in a different way. And when you say light, just know it's being heard. It's being heard on the other side, in the other realm. It's being heard here too, on this side, in this realm. But keep in mind that someone, something, somewhere is hearing you say light. If it's darkness that hears you say light, then it runs away in fear. Fear of the power you hold when you use the word light. If it's God or the angels or even loved ones that have passed that hear you say the word light, then there's rejoicing, there's joy, there's hope, love, there's healing, compassion. Powerful light-filled intentions travel far and wide when you say the word light. Behold the light. God bless the light. Always remember the light. Many blessings. Take care, everybody. Kick off your shoes. Take a break. Keep a light heart. No need to hurry or make haste. Not in a rush. Slow down. You don't have to step right up. You won't be late. Says our inner soul that knows that time is always on a roll. No matter how fast we work for the light, the angels are on a different time zone. Maybe you aren't the one that's had everything in life handed to them on a silver plate under the sun, but by no means does it say you're less than or less great. The controllers on this planet giving the orders on this earth and doesn't even know how hard you really had it growing up and going through life within a world that's always half-baked. The reality is we have to fight to stay above water in a pond filled with ghouls and goblins and evildoers. There's no spiritually clean water, but you have a chance to bring in the holy water. Demons hoping to stop anyone from crawling out and saving their own lives. Don't be petrified. Nothing holds power over your soul but the soul. Shout if you stand behind your body's ability to heal. Your words can cut negative energy like a knife. Your words are stronger than stainless steel. It's like a diamond blade, never fails. You can pull through. You got conviction. Your body will do the same for you. Stand up. Let your body know you don't give up. Even if you feel you've been hit by a truck. From adrenaline, addiction. Darkness comes in all shapes and sizes. Tiny, small, medium, large, and filled with endless surprises. But you won't be taken for a fool no more, snake. You no longer shop at Satan's store. What will it take? The little devils don't have any power no more when they come knocking on your door. One shot of light from your heavenly light spout will kill the demon's chances and will mean lights out. Never for a minute think you don't have what it takes to take the title. You take the cake. You aren't a loser. You were never a darkness boozer. And the ones working for God know about the light rod that glows when you summon it as it destroys the twisted facade. For heaven's sake, you ride with the light. Make no mistake, no one's above God.
Original published medical medium information gets stolen and poached by podcast doctors, social media doctors, influencers, and medical clinics. Medical medium information has never yet been proven wrong by medical science and research. Instead, the opposite, only proven right and then taken from medical medium published material and used in the conventional and alternative health communities. Medical medium information continually sets the stage for medical science to understand chronic illness better. If you choose to share or use the original, unique content from the Medical Medium podcast, books, or Medical Medium social media, please cite where this information comes from, so others who see and learn of this information have a chance to know where it all originates, to give them an opportunity to heal, so they don't end up losing years of their life searching for answers like so many have before them. The Medical Medium information here on this podcast doesn't come from broken science, interest groups, medical funding with strings attached, botched research, lobbyists, internal kickbacks, persuaded belief systems, private panels of influencers, health field payoffs, trendy traps, or gathered bits and pieces of gimmicky confusion. Because chronic illness is exploding like never before in our modern day history, it takes a greater force than us down here. It takes a helping hand from above. Medical medium information has street cred. It's an organic movement of countless people around the world healing. More healing stories of real people not being paid to tell their life-changing experiences of rising out of the ashes of sickness and entering into the light of full recovery, getting their lives back and finally healing when nothing else in the world of health could move the needle and get them better. The information on this podcast is not man-made. It comes from above, from a higher source. Whatever you believe in, whether God, the universe, the light, or the creator, or if you believe in nothing at all, that we're just floating through space together on this rock. Know that the information you hear on this podcast is separate from all the other noise out there. It comes from a different place, a pure, untampered with, advanced, clean, uncorrupted, original, primary source, a higher source, spirit of compassion.